How are we getting on anyway? All right.
Yeah, all right, to be honest, dude. When the gym shut down anyway, like I jumped over to construction, handed what home clients I had over, and just stuck with giving out free content on YouTube and
Yeah.
Instagram and things. Anyway, so it hasn't really affected me, the whole lockdown scenario. Anyway, kind of thing.
Yeah. I suppose that's quite lucky for you, really. The fact that you've got that backup just in case.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I did PTing before, and then I had a break, and then I've recently come back to it. So it was kind of bad timing, but not bad enough for me not to go back to the old job. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was kind of a good thing.
Yeah, I think for you as well, mate. I think it's a passion of yours as well, the coaching. So, regardless, I mean, like, because it's something that it's like a labour of love. Regardless, you'll still do it in some facet, I reckon. Even though you've got the other work going on at the moment, I can see that you're putting up a lot of content on your social media.
Yeah.
Which is good for a lot of people. I think people should really take this time to utilize the information that myself and you were giving out, because realistically it's gold, mate. It's all of our years of accumulating this knowledge. We're giving it for free, and you can't really go wrong with that. You've just got to take that opportunity.
I'd have to agree, mate. Like, it's if now more than ever, it's people are going to be glued to the phone, and it doesn't matter really what age you are, and it's just a chance what PTs have never really had to sort of show what they're worth. Do you know what I mean? To get everything what they know out there for the world to see, and even if you're not good on a camera, do you know what I mean? It still doesn't mean that you can't use the opportunity.
Yeah.
And as well, if you're a PT and you stay open-minded enough, you're going to learn a lot of stuff, because like every PT, even those out there who are training NFL stars, they're still putting content out there. So it's an amazing educational curve, I suppose.
Definitely, I agree with you. Yeah, and for those coaches that maybe are a little bit camera shy, it's just an opportunity for them to maybe push their comfort zone and get themselves out on camera and deliver their message that way. At the end of the day, being on camera for me is not something that comes naturally. It's something that I've had to develop over time. And that's been a personal challenge of mine. I think for yourself, you're most probably quite apt when it comes to delivering in front of a camera. It just, like, for me, it just seems like you're that sort of person. But for those who aren't really, inclined that way, it is a good opportunity for them to to push their comfort zone and to actually get out there and get on social media. So what we're talking about today?
I've got a few different things, and the starting is kind of what we're talking about, but to delve into it a little bit more, it is the opportunity for people to train, but not just if you're a beginner and you've never done it before, because obviously, like, everyone's stuck in the house right now. There's not a lot going on in their lives, and it seems to me they've either got two choices right now. They can either binge watch Netflix and get drunk every single night, or they can try something new, and it doesn't have to be fitness, but obviously we're going to talk about the fitness side of things.
Yeah.
And I for both physical and mental health is just a fantastic avenue to go down. And they sort of never be, like, people are going to have that much spare time on their hands now that not only can they try something in fitness, they could look up on YouTube, they could learn about progressive overload, they could learn about periodization, they could learn about rep rate. Like, instead of just going to a gym and trying the treadmill and trying the bench press, now they can actually try a workout and really, really delve into it. Do you know what I mean? And really set themselves up on a really good head start sort of thing into the fitness journey, if they are starting from fresh, of course.
Yeah, I mean, even if they're not, even if they're intermediate, this is still a massive, even advanced. This is a massive opportunity for everybody to, take some time, reflect on their current system, their current programming, their diet, and see if it is efficient. And if there is some, you know, some deficits within that program, within that diet, this is a really good chance and opportunity to rectify those things that are weaknesses.
Yeah, definitely. In fact, that's something what I had down is to, like, there's never been an opportunity before like this where you can really work on your weakness. Do you know what I mean? And like really go into. But I was gonna ask you about that. Do you think, like, say for instance, like, because I'm more into like the cardio style of training and stuff. So obviously progression for me, it's quite easy. Like you can definitely progress cardiovascularly, but for someone like yourself who's really strong, do you think, for instance, someone like yourself could improve the squat by working on a different exercise what's going to complement your squat? Would that be possible?
I suppose to some extent it would be possible. I mean, this is the way my program is set up. Is you'll have the primary move, which will be obviously the squat, the back squat. But alongside that, you'll have supplementary exercises, which might be a variation of that squat, which will hopefully help bring up weak points. So, for example, if you was to do a front squat, you're going to have to engage your back, keep your back nice and tight. And if this is something that is a weakness of yours when you're doing a back squat, i.e., you come down and the bar sort of bullies you forward, that could be a really good alternative, or, as I said, supplementary exercise to your existing exercise in order for you to progress within that primary exercise.
Yeah.
For people that are at home now and maybe limited to certain pieces of equipment, I think there's opportunity to practice certain exercises in order for them to become more proficient when they do go back to the gym. I suppose that's a full topic in itself.
Yeah.
For myself personally, I know what my weaknesses are. Mine is at the moment fitness, and I don't know if I'm guessing you saw the Instagram post I put out on Mankel over matter on Instagram, doing the 250 squat challenge. 250 body weighted exercise challenge today. That absolutely destroyed me, mate. Like that for me would be not even a warm up 3 years ago. And now obviously it's quite a challenge. So it sort of does it does highlight areas of weakness.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Hats off to you, man, for going down that avenue, because that's a drastic change from what you're used to as well.
I'm not sure if I'm going to go completely down that avenue. I'm just like dipping my toes in the water at the moment. So
what else have you got to, like? It's a perfect opportunity to be trying new things and stuff like that, isn't it? So this, like, that's exactly what you're doing. You know what I mean? You've got it now, and you're trying it, like.
Yeah, I think for, like, especially strength athletes, just general physical preparedness is really important. So, you know, yeah, you might be able to do a really heavy lift, but you most probably would be able to increase that lift if your general physical preparedness was better. Because on days where you do like hypertrophy work, you're most probably able to push out maybe a few more reps if your general physical preparedness is more proficient.
Yeah, you see that this is something what I'm quite big on, is just your own ability to move your own body weight around in things like the body weight squat, in the push up, in the pull up and stuff. And I think now for a beginner, for instance, or even if you're not a beginner, but it's just a perfect opportunity to get that foundation nice and strong. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you perform some bodyweight squats against a wall and practice the hip hinge onto a chair or something like that, it's just going to teach you like a fantastic foundation. And then over the next few weeks, if you keep practicing them, you're going to walk into the gym with such more confidence than you would have done if you just decided to start the gym one day and you hadn't practiced those things. because it's something I'm quite big on with my clients, but it's quite hard to do because you can't really get them in the gym and get them to practice these movements for 4 weeks and not have them touch any weights, because it seems a little bit boring. Do you know what I mean? After a while,
yeah.
need entertainment.
You could do that, but whether somebody would be mentally engaged enough to continue on with that is another question. Most people just don't want to just do fundamentals for 4 weeks. That's the problem. But realistically, you know, a lot of people could do with improving, you know, their squat, their press up, their lunge. You know, these fundamental exercises are integral. And you will come up short in if you try and progress too quickly, you will come up short sooner or later.
Yeah, it was like myself. I joined the army at 16, and we never touched weights during basic training. And I think obviously it does get you to quite a good level of fitness, like your basic training. And I'm sure that's helped me through my fitness career. Do you know what I mean? Just having that natural foundation in being able to do press-ups, being able to run, being able to squat, being able to do sit-ups and things like that, having a good strong core, it definitely didn't do me any harm, put it that way. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I think I would agree. Like even for myself, I was involved in, you know, some form of activity since I was a young kid. So I do feel like that's built a foundation for my maybe not at the moment, but for my fitness levels, for my strength as well. You know, for my size, even when I was young, I was pretty strong. So I put a lot of that down to the fact that my parents pushed me into, you know, athletic pursuits.
Yeah. So, do you think now then is not just from the foundation, but moving on to someone who's maybe been going to the gym a while? Do you think progression is something what's possible doing the home workout style of things now? Because personally,
go on, sorry. Yeah, I think there's potential. As I said, like there's potential for progression, but is it in the facet that person wants to pursue? Maybe not. I think a lot of it as well will be determined by what equipment you have to hand. I'm quite lucky in the fact that I've got hold of about 200 kilos worth of weight, and I've got some thick bands, and I've got some other little bits and bobs as well. For those who are maybe unfortunate and don't have, you know, that sort of equipment, I think from a strength facet it can be very, very hard for people to progress. And I'm not going to lie about that. And I'm not going to try and sell a product that I don't think is realistically achievable. But I'm trying to come up with ways and means in which, you know, people with limited equipment could potentially improve their strength and hypertrophy to some degree. The one thing that I was thinking about was blood flow restriction training, which definitely works for people who have got some sort of injury and they can't load weight very well. What it does is I spoke with Neil in the last episode that I did on my podcast. We sort of went over it. Basically, the idea is that you get blood flow into the area, but you don't want to completely like shut off the body part, because you want a certain amount of blood flow to get in there, but you don't want it all to come out. So the idea is it's like hyperplasmic effect. It swells up the muscle and sort of like creates hypertrophy through that way. So I'm having a look into that at the moment, and I'm going to come up with a few little suggestions for people who are limited to equipment. Yeah.
So that's quite advanced, but would you say someone who's a smaller build like myself, would you say like it's possible for someone like me to be able to build, or would you say the same rules apply? Because I imagine like through push-ups and stuff, I could stimulate my chest a little bit more than you could, for instance.
I don't know really. I think what it comes down to is if your aim is to what's your aim, to get a little stronger or a little bit bigger or both?
Just wondering if you thought it was possible for someone like me, for instance, just using me as an example, to maybe add a little bit of size to my chest or something like that?
I think it's possible, and again, it comes down to, because I know you've got quite a few pieces of equipment that you can play around with. I think doing bog standard push-ups isn't really going to stimulate any real muscle growth, to be honest with you. It'll definitely help in other facets, like you have the potential to get fitter. You have the potential to improve your endurance. Maybe there is a potential for some small growth if you really push it to an extreme level. So if you tax all the muscle fibers, you are going to create some sort of hypertrophy response. But for yourself personally, because you most probably can rep out 100 push-ups pretty easy, I think it's going to be hard for you. I think you need some sort of loading personally.
Yeah. But if we was to look at it from a weight, because a lot of people are, let's face it, would like to lose a little bit of weight. I think we'd both agree. You might have a different opinion, though. I think that is more than possible with the home workout style setup, say, with the things that have been thrown out on there. If your goal was to simply shed a bit of weight and get a bit of muscle definition, I think that's very, very possible. In my opinion, I'd say that's extremely possible to be able to do.
Yeah, I'd agree with you, mate. I think this is a time for people who are maybe trying to lose body fat they've got a massive opportunity in front of them. You've got opportunity to nail your diet. You've got opportunity to focus on the fundamentals, like getting enough water in, getting enough sleep in. You've got the opportunity to research and skill up on this. And you've got the opportunity to exercise. So yeah, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't be able to lose body fat. If anything, this is going to actually benefit you. The fact that we're under lockdown at the moment.
Yeah, and you could probably go at it from so many different angles with what's being put out there at the moment. Like I couldn't see any reason why, if you put your mind to it, you couldn't lose body fat. In fact, I'd say it's the number one best seller of home fitness probably would be to lose weight, I suppose. Like, what have I got out down here?
Yeah, I mean, like for your general population, most people are looking to lose a little bit of body fat, just look a little bit better in general, really. So I think as I said, from that aspect, massively possible. The stuff like the content that you're putting out, mate, is spot on for that. I think anybody who's looking to lose a little bit of body fat should be looking at your social media because it's good content.
Yeah, well, in all honesty, I'm trying to incorporate a lot of things that you're throwing out there as well. Like those, I know I've spoke to you before about it, but those table rows, man, like, I don't know why I've never thought of it before, but I was trying there, and that's hell of a movement. And as you say, it just comes back to being creative and like putting your mind to it and showing your passion, I suppose.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think we a lot of the time as well we get stuck in a routine. You know, perhaps you go to the gym and you do a certain workout, and because we are creatures of habit, we tend to repeat that pattern over and over again. As I mentioned to you, yeah, there is potential for progression doing the same exercises, but obviously it will be determined on the reps, sets, and how you perform the exercise. But at the same time, like whilst you're at home, have a go at these things, try some new things out, see how it feels, see how your body works. A lot of people don't have a clue on how their biomechanics work and how a muscle moves. This is prime opportunity to figure that out.
Yeah, and I think it's also a great opportunity for you to switch things up. I know, I'm pretty sure you're a fan of it, but a deload week, for instance, like if you've been going hard, then this could be the perfect opportunity to implement something like a deload week. What's going to benefit you if and when the gyms reopen, I suppose.
Yeah, I'd agree to some extent. I think like the way I would program my workouts is 3 weeks progression, linear progression, 1 week deload, and then try and get a personal best on the 5th week. and then
Okay.
repeat the cycle again. Yeah, for a lot of people, it could be, you know, especially a lot of gym rats who just train week in, week out. What they might find is, as long as they're still eating, you know, a similar calorific amount per day, they might actually grow because they're giving the body opportunity to rest. It's like I don't know about you, but like whenever I've gone on holiday, the week prior to the holiday, I'll train my ass off, and then for the next 2 weeks, I'll most probably be training, doing a bit of stuff in the hotel room, but again, but you know, other than that, most probably not a lot, and you know, my body composition will most probably stay the same, or I might even grow a little bit. You know, a lot of people get into the mindset that training is what creates growth. It's not. It's the rest and recuperation. Yeah.
And there's always a weird thing. I don't know if you get this, but whenever I go on holiday and I allow myself to relax for a little bit, I come back and that first week back in the gym, it's kind of like you've gone like this and just blown yourself up. You know, like the amount of blood what seems to be getting in the muscles is absolutely insane, man. Like,
yeah, I think a lot of that as well is the fact that for a lot of people, when they're at home and they're training, they're most probably on a bit of a restrictive calorie diet. And then when they go away, they're most probably a little bit of a surplus. And as a result of that, you've got all that glycogen in your system. And then when you come back home and you start training again, you know, all that glycogen's getting shuttled to the muscle, so it makes you look bigger.
yeah. Do you know, I knew if anyone was going to know the science behind that theory. What do you think about the like the whole switching things up then? Do you think that that's going to benefit most people?
Again, I think for people who are predominantly strength athletes, most probably not. You know, barring the exception, I think myself, I might actually get a little bit stronger because I'm trying out things with moderate weight, but then I've got bands added into the equation as well. So it is providing a new stimulus for me. As I said, I think you could most probably run the same routine week in, week out, and as long as there's some sort of solid planning in place, you could grow. I think it's going to be hard for a lot of people with a new stimulus because the stimulus that they're introducing is not one which is as taxing as the one that they'd most probably have in the gym.
Yeah, I suppose a lot of it depends on as well is how long this is going to go on for. You know, how long is it going to be before they get back into the gym? Because I suppose I'm sort of guessing here, but for someone like yourself, if you didn't have the equipment to hand what you do have, maybe taking a couple of weeks and training a different style for a few weeks might not have such a negative effect on your strength or anything like that. It might actually benefit you then to go back in the gym. But I suppose if it starts creeping into the months, because we're not really sure how long this is actually going to go on for. Like, I'm not even sure, has it hit the peak yet?
Well, I reckon it's most probably going to be next week when I start seeing a lot of people develop this virus or show symptoms. So I think we could be under lockdown for months, mate. I'm under no illusion there. A couple of weeks, you most probably would benefit to some extent. I think after that, then you're going to start to see diminished returns. I think it's going to be hard for a lot of people to retain the strength, the size, without, you know, during this hiatus.
Yeah. So just like obviously, I did a little Instagram post. In my opinion, 5 things because you can still get hold of things from Amazon and things like that. So I think like if there's anyone out there who's wondering if they want to get into fitness, things that we could suggest for them to try, I'd say resistance bands,
definitely,
a TRX if you could afford one.
Yeah, well, I know on that post that you put up with your TRX. What TRX was that? Did it have?
It was the military TRX.
Because years ago I got hold of a TRX, and I think the brand name was, so it's WOSS, and I could be wrong on that, but mine cost me like 35 quid, and it's and it's lasted like 3 years. It's solid.
Yeah.
So what
And
I'll do in fact is when I post this up on YouTube, I'll put a link in where I got that from, so hopefully people can source it.
Yeah, definitely, man. That's a good idea, because that's one piece of equipment. That I consider that a very beneficial piece of equipment. Like the amount of things you can do with it is absolutely insane. Likewise, the kettlebell, and a pull-up bar, I'd say, but because a pull-up bar you can get what clips onto your door. It's like £5. Do you know what I mean? And it's for what you can do on them. I know you're pretty limited to workouts, but the functionality of it's pretty second to none, I'd say. Like,
yeah, I would say like underrated exercises, in my opinion, body weighted ones in particular, are dips and pull-ups. I think these are actually bread and butter exercises, even for strength athletes. Now, obviously, for yourself, like you most probably can pull up. You can do quite a few reps doing pull-ups. So for yourself, you might need some sort of extra stimulus, i.e., weighted vest, or maybe just like, I don't know, if you've got one of those belts where you can attach weight to it, that would be fantastic as well.
yeah, what I use is I just put weights in a rucksack.
There you go.
And, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Ingenious, mate. Yeah.
The job, like.
Yeah. So all people need to do is start thinking a little bit outside the box. I've had loads of people message me saying, I've not got any equipment to hand. And then when we've actually delved into it, they've actually got numerous pieces of equipment that maybe are not technically designed for training, but can be used as a training tool.
Yeah, man. I don't have dumbbells in my house. I have a lot of other things, and I was trying to warm my shoulders up, and all I did was I grabbed two 2-litre bottles of Coca-Cola and just did a little shoulder routine with that. And what was actually quite funny about it is, because my grip had to be so wide on the cola bottles, I actually got a bit of grip strength. But it works for me, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, grip strength training right there. So yeah, I think a lot of it is just thinking outside the box. But obviously, we're professionals in this facet. So if anybody's got any questions on how to maybe set things up in the home, as I said, like, our advice is invaluable. It's on hand at the moment. Like, to be fair, like, I'm not going to delve into how much you charge for a session, but like, I charge a relatively large fee, and I'm giving away my advice for free. So I would urge anybody who is interested, get in touch with us now. This is a really good opportunity for you guys.
Yeah, definitely, man. And even as silly as it sounds, like, you're an extremely good strength trainer, and I consider myself someone who's very good at getting somebody in shape, more the cardiovascular side of things. So even the fact that us two can sit down and speak like this right now about the subject of home workouts and what the benefits are and what the negatives might be, yeah, that's invaluable in itself. Do you know what I mean? To say that I can benefit off the advice what you're giving, and you can benefit off the advice what I'm giving, and we're kind of in different areas of fitness. Do you know what I mean? It's a cool time, man. Like,
yeah. So maybe run for another 5 minutes or so, I reckon, just so this doesn't become too long for people watching. So how can we go about this? Okay, so what are your plans? What are your plans in the next week, month, several months to help out your clients? What you plan to do?
Well, you mean like personally what I'm going to do workout wise?
Yeah, and also like what you're planning to do for your existing clients and people that maybe are visiting your social media.
So I'm going to keep on putting stuff out there for, it's kind of like a Joe Wick styled training thing, this sort of repetitive. I do 20 exercises for 20 seconds each 3 times through. I'm going to try and get those out there at least 3 times a week. And I'm just going to be releasing really simple workouts, like how to get rid of your bingo wings, how to perfect the bodyweight squat, how to use a kettlebell effectively, really simple, basic things like that. And it's all for free, of course. Like I'm not charging any money for this. And as well, what I'm doing personally is I've always wanted to be able to pistol squat, and I've just never had the chance to be able to do it. And now, obviously, it's the perfect time. All I need is a chair, so
Exactly.
I can get.
Yeah, so essentially you're adhering to your own advice, aren't you? Having that opportunity, grabbing hold of it, learning a new skill.
Yeah, exactly, man. And it might not lead to anything, but if I can do 5 pistol squats by the end of this, like I'll be quite a happy man. You know what I mean? I couldn't do them before, so.
Yeah, a good read is Convict Conditioning. I got that years ago, and it's a very informative book on calisthenics. I would recommend it. I think it's free at the moment as an ebook. Again, if I can source it, I'll put it in the links, in the description. Yeah. But yeah, that's a really good one, because I was well into calisthenics at one point as well. So yeah, but yeah.
The other thing what I'm trying to do, and it sounds a little bit corny, really, but it's just to inspire. It's just to try and inspire people.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's corny in the slightest. I think at this moment in time, it's a really, although it's a terrible time, it's also quite a nice time, because people are banding together. There's more of a community. Like people like ourselves, we're talking with each other. I put this post out the other day, and I just saying if there's any fitness professionals want to get in touch. So I think it's sort of bringing back a little bit of humanity into our society to some extent.
Yeah, definitely, man. And I mean, even if we can get an extra 5% of people into fitness kind of thing, because it could even be good. There's a lot of parents out there right now who have got kids who need tiring out because they're having to homeschool them, and they're understimulated, and this is a perfect opportunity to get together as a family even. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like,
yeah, and as I said to you earlier on, I don't know if you've got this in the pipeline, but if I was you with your style of training, I would put workouts for parents and for kids. I think that would be, really beneficial to yourself and to those who are watching as well. You could do similar style to this. You could do some sort of like live stream, like a Zoom call sort of, and invite people to join in with your Zoom call, so they get to speak with you and see you in real time. There's loads of opportunities, mate. I think that would be a very good one for you, parents and kids.
Yeah, it's definitely something I'm gonna try and look into.
Yeah.
So what about yourself? What are you going to be working on over the next 4 weeks?
Most probably still strength facet. Try and keep as much size as I possibly can do. So I've bought in bulk a load of Pop-Tarts. Yeah, I've just been eating shit, to be fair. Pizzas, ice cream, Pop-Tarts. Don't listen to what I'm saying here. This is just for me.
Well, I've managed to stay pretty good, but I suppose everyone's diet could suffer somewhat just with availability to the supermarkets and things like that.
Yeah. Well, today I went for a little drive, and there was queues outside of not even big supermarkets, like your more small local ones. There was still queues, so it's getting pretty serious. I checked out online if I could order food online. Every appointment is taken, and that's for like the next several weeks. But we'll see what happens. There's enough food to go around. It's just a case of maybe having to, put a bit more effort into it and wait about a little bit more, and
It is. I'm afraid. Like I had to wake up at about 5:30 the other morning to get to Tesco's at 6 o'clock, and I still queued, but I queued for about half an hour, and then I managed to get a shop in.
Yeah.
I didn't say this. I'm not that guy who's fucking bulk buying toilet paper and things.
I can see the toilet paper in the background, mate. It looks like a fort. Yeah. It's just one of those situations. It's something which is unprecedented, and something that is also a massive opportunity as well, I think.
Yeah, 100% agree, man.
Yeah. Anything else before we sign off?
No, just if you are watching this and you are thinking about getting into fitness at all, just I would say just try it. And even if you don't like the first thing you try, just try the next thing. Then try. There will be something out there what you enjoy. And if you are one of them people who just hates fitness, just get through a 20-minute workout a day. It's only going to benefit you, especially mentally. Mental health, if not for your physical health.
Definitely, yeah. And do you want to put out a shameless plug now about like your Instagram page and like what?
Yeah, I'm Mefit UK on all accounts, and that's my Facebook, my Twitter, my Instagram, the lot. So
lovely.
Thank you.
Yeah, great stuff. Yeah, and before I go, I'm just going to plug these as well. So this is Tech Power Apparel. This is a clothing brand that I set up a while back. Basically, on my website, which is mankelovermatter.com, I've got these for sale. All the proceeds will be going to coronavirus. So, you know, if you want to contribute that way, that's available as well to you.
What a selfless act, man. Fair play.
Yeah, nice one. Great speaking to you again, mate. And we'll have to stay in touch.
Right, look after yourself, man.
Likewise. Take care, mate. Speak soon. It's all right.